Jacqueline Harris, a self-made black CEO of a major fintech company, walked into a bank branch she had helped fund, only to be denied a simple cash withdrawal by a dismissive teller who judged her by her appearance. Without revealing her identity, she calmly endured the disrespect until the branch manager arrived. Only then did she hand over her business card, revealing her true role as the bank's CEO. Within minutes, the teller was dismissed, not out of vengeance but as a stand for dignity and respect. But Jacqueline's response didn't end there. She offered opportunity to a young man previously denied a job at the bank due to bias, implemented inclusion training company-wide, and initiated community programs to empower the underserved. Her actions turned a moment of discrimination into a nationwide movement of empathy, leadership, and accountability, proving that real power lies not in position, but in the courage to stand for what's right. Jacqueline's story began long before that pivotal moment at the bank. Born and raised in a modest neighborhood in Detroit, she was the daughter of a single mother who worked tirelessly, cleaning houses by day and waiting tables by night, to keep food on the table. Jacqueline learned the values of resilience, humility, and hard work from a young age. She often recalled how her mother would say, "Baby, the world may not always be fair to you, but you make sure you're always fair to the world." That principle guided her through every step of her journey, from earning scholarships to graduating with honors, and eventually launching Legacy First Financial, a fintech platform designed to serve people who had long been ignored by traditional banks. Despite her success, Jacqueline remained grounded. She visited her old neighborhood often, hosted free financial literacy workshops, and mentored young girls dreaming of futures that once seemed impossible. Her reputation was not just built on business acumen but on her unwavering belief in equity and compassion. So when that teller looked at her and saw only someone who didn't belong, it wasn't just a personal slight, it was a reminder of the bias so many still faced daily. After the incident at the bank, Jacqueline didn't just let it pass. She turned it into a moment of reflection and transformation. She called an emergency board meeting the next day, where she shared her experience, not with anger, but with purpose. "If I, as CEO, can be dismissed like that," she said, "imagine what our everyday customers go through. We have to be better." The board responded with full support, and together, they launched the See Me initiative, a comprehensive program designed to retrain all bank staff in cultural competence, implicit bias awareness, and human-centered service. The initiative didn't stop with training. Jacqueline ensured accountability by setting up anonymous reporting systems, regular community feedback forums, and employee recognition programs that celebrated empathy and inclusion. She personally visited over 40 branches in 6 months, holding listening sessions with employees and customers alike. One story she heard was of an elderly immigrant couple who had almost lost their home due to a communication gap with a loan officer. Jacqueline not only resolved their issue but also hired translators and cultural liaisons in branches that served diverse populations. Her commitment soon drew national attention. Media outlets picked up her story, framing it as a powerful lesson in modern leadership. But for Jacqueline, the true impact was felt in the letters she received, hundreds of them, from strangers across the country. One came from a teacher in Kansas who read her story aloud to her 5th grade class. "You've shown my students what courage and grace look like," the teacher wrote. Another was from a retired bus driver in Mississippi who said, "I've spent my life being invisible. You made me feel seen." Among these letters was one that stood out most, a handwritten note from a 72-year-old man in Alabama. He recounted how he'd been turned away from a bank in 1964 because of the color of his skin. He wrote, "I thought I'd die before the world changed. But watching your story, it gave me hope again." Touched by his words, Jacqueline arranged a surprise visit. She flew to Montgomery, found him volunteering at a local library, and spent an afternoon talking about the past, present, and future. Before leaving, she promised to build a mentorship and resource center in his neighborhood, a commitment she fulfilled within the year. Back at Legacy First, the culture began to shift. Employees started taking pride in being part of a purpose-driven organization. Customer satisfaction rose. Turnover dropped. More importantly, the bank became a safe space, where no one, regardless of appearance, accent, or status, felt lesser. Jacqueline also launched a customer advisory board made up of everyday clients, a waitress, a school janitor, a single dad, a recent college graduate, who met quarterly with executives to offer real-world insights. As Jacqueline's influence grew, she was invited to speak at conferences and panels around the world. In one memorable keynote, she said, "True leadership isn't about titles or power. It's about how many people you can lift while staying true to your values." Her words resonated deeply, especially among young professionals looking to lead with integrity. Eventually, a documentary was made about her journey. Titled 7 Minutes, it chronicled not just the incident at the bank, but Jacqueline's life, her mother's sacrifices, and the legacy she was building. The final scene showed the transformed bank branch, now featuring community art, multilingual signage, and an engraved plaque that read, "In honor of every unseen soul who deserved to be recognized. Legacy first, a bank for all." Jacqueline's story, born from a moment of injustice, became a testament to the transformative power of empathy, courage, and vision. She didn't just fire an employee, she sparked a movement. One that reminded the world that when we choose to see each other fully, with respect and compassion, we create spaces where everyone can belong. And that changed everything.